welcome back to the forum Ms. Amy Azul, Director of Tutoring and Academic Support.
Thank you so much. I'm going to play a little game. I'm going to try to throw it in chat, the link. But the information is up here at the top, just to put a fun twist on it, because talking about cheating and plagiarism isn't the warmest, cushiest type of conversation to have. So we're going to do this in a game format. And so Kahoot.it is the, and I can't get the chat, darn it, open, stinking share screen. I don't know if anybody can, but www.kahoot.it, it opens it up, and then you put in the game pin, and then you can give yourself a nickname. You don't have to out yourself and you know, give your legal name or anything. Then everybody knows your opinion. So it's a semi-anonymous endeavor. So as soon as I get a few folks in here, I will start our little game. But while I'm waiting for folks to sort it out, yay, thank you. I think I just finally saw my chat popped up too. While we're getting folks in there, you know, we all want to do well in our classes. We have all this information at our fingertips now. It's so awesome. I mean, I can regale you on the hours and hours I spent in libraries going through school, but now all of this information is at our fingertips. But so many times when we're working on our assignments, we might have some questions, how to integrate sources into our work. You know, do I need to cite it? Do I not need to cite it? Is it okay to copy and paste? Can I have my friend help me out? You know, all of this. And as a student, your goal, all the instructors want to see and want to see your demonstration of understanding the material that you're learning. And it's okay to use other sources into our work. We just need to make sure we do that correctly. So that's what our little game is going to kind of go over, those key concepts. But if ever you have a doubt, always talk to your professor or come to any of our tutoring centers. I gave that spiel a couple hours ago. Our tutors are there in Canvas, in tutoring and academic support shell there, and our tutors are there to talk to you about, you know, if you have any concerns. I'll throw my email in chat and our tutoring email as well. You can always feel free to reach out to us there as well. Okay, looks like we have a good number of you in there. Thank you so much for playing. So let's start. So it's going to give you some questions on my screen. And then on your device, or if you're toggling between screens, then you'll have to pick the color of the answer that you think it is. So according to the college policy, plagiarism is defined as what? Using too many other sources of information, using citations and references, putting information into your own words, presenting someone else's words. Awesome, perfection. Hey, good job, guys. Yeah, so it's presenting somebody else's work as one's own. So not citing the sources effectively. It also tells you who's in the running. So Jay, let's see, maybe we'll give a gift card to the winner of this, Chris, maybe. Just throw that idea out there. Which of the following is not one of the penalties that the college imposes for plagiarism? So student receives a 0 grade for the assignment. Student receives an F for the course. Parents are contacted and asked to meet with the dean. Student is suspended from the college. Yeah, so parents, yes, a lot of our students do have parents, but when you registered for the college, you signed a little waiver that the parents weren't a part of this conversation. So we keep all of this information between the student and you. So yeah, the parents, we don't contact the parents, but you might be called in to talk to the dean, and actually the VP now. has a promotion. So if that's the case, but I would say always, when in doubt, reach out to us. We're here to help you. All right, we got a new front runner. Okay, next one. When you use your own words, you're paraphrasing, to report information from your research, you should put your own words in quotation marks. You need both a citation as well as a reference at the end. You don't need to acknowledge the source of your information, or you should put your words into italics. We're doing a little English class right now. I should say I also teach English, so sorry if it comes off a little that way too. But yeah, no, you need both a citation as well as a reference at the end. I don't know. When you use your own words, I should have checked that. If it's your own words, but if you are paraphrasing, yes, you still need to cite it. If you're citing somebody else's ideas, if the ideas didn't come out of your brain, yes, you do need to cite it and have that reference at the end. Good job, guys. All right. MC is running in the front. Which of the following statements requires a citation? California is located on the West Coast. Valentine's Day is on February 14th. Victorville has a land area of 73.7 square miles, where the capital of California is Sacramento. Cool. Yeah. So the other stuff, when you get into like English class, and sometimes we talk about what's common knowledge. And a lot of these other are common knowledge. The general population, folks in California, typically know the answers to some of those. But the actual citation, and I probably should have cited that source where I got it. Oh, I've lost it already, so dang it. But I can get it to you if you need it. All right. True or false? Not using quotation marks when identifying direct phrases is an act of plagiarism. See how we're doing. Oh, so we got, so yeah, so not using quotation marks when identifying direct phrases is an act of it is. So you need to have those quotation marks around any direct phrases from other sources, if they're exact verbatim, word for word, and even if they're paraphrases like that previous question, you also need to cite those sources as well. And again, the Writing Center, perfect place to help you out with that. We know several different forms of citation, APA, MLA, Chicago. So pretty much all the citations that most courses require. All right, MC, doing good. All right, true or false? You ask a friend to write a paper for you. This is a type of plagiarism. I can tell you stories about this, but I don't have time for it. So yeah, of course, it is a type of plagiarism. I've had folks who've written papers for others on the down low contact me, and actually the person who wrote the paper is equally responsible as the person who hired the person to write the paper. So yeah, so we have some, so MC, you're still there. You're still number one. Good job. Keep it up. All right, true or false? You only need to cite a source the first time you use it in a paper. Yeah, so what about that dissertation? You cited it once on page 5 and then on page 183. You mentioned it again. Yeah, you need to cite it. The reference page, you just need it listed once there, but yeah, within, and typically the rule is within the paragraph. You don't have to cite it again, but later on. But when in doubt, rule number 1 for me every time is talk to your professor. Always talk to your professor. They are the final decision on all of this. Always reach out to them, but we can always give you some guidance too in the tutoring center. But the professor, honor thy professor's commandments. Visuals are not considered intellectual property. True or false? Yeah, they are considered intellectual property. So we do need to cite any visuals and graphs and all of those fun things that make our papers prettier. We still need to cite them in our academic papers and elsewhere too. All of these images in mine, by the way, are open source, but yeah, I would still typically need to cite them as well. Oh, we got somebody. We got somebody in the running. True or false? A person can get in trouble for plagiarism only if the person intended to plagiarize. So intentional, unintentional. Are you only penalized for the intentional plagiarism that occurs? Ooh, we got a tie. Whether it's intentional or unintentional, it's you're still penalized. You could potentially be penalized. It's still considered plagiarism. That's why, when in doubt, I always, always cite your sources. I tell students, I'd rather tell you that, oh no, you didn't have to cite that. That's common knowledge, than me saying, oh, this is actually needed to cite it. It's plagiarism. And each professor approaches it maybe slightly different, but yeah, when in doubt, cite it. Whether it's intentional or unintentional, it still could be penalized in the same way. Jay's coming close, is he? All right, true or false? If your group member plagiarizes on a group assignment, you could get a 0 as well. Yeah, so in those group projects, you gotta, always communicate. And that's pretty much, let's see who won. So MC came in third. Jay, and number 1 is Lizzie. Good job. If you can post your email in the Q&A section so we can see that, Lizzie, then we'll take care of you. Let me stop sharing so I can see the Q&A section. If there are any questions, again, we're in tutoring and academic support. We're available to assist you to discuss all of your assignments, so we can support you and when we have questions about doing it correctly. We also have a lot of workshops in our writing center on how to cite sources, how to do research. A lot of it comes down to just being able, just correctly keeping track of your research and making sure in your research you differentiate between what you got from another source and what are your own thoughts. And we go over that a lot of times. We go over that in the writing center. So if there's any questions, I don't see any questions in the Q&A.
Awesome. Thank you. Amy, you would think that I know a lot of these things we would love to call common sense, but they're really not. And I'm so glad that we actually take time to actually lay out what is correct, what is acceptable, and what is not. What's a common pitfall that you've seen that students have unfortunately fallen into, where they didn't really think that they were doing something wrong, but obviously it isn't? What's going to be a really easy one for folks to avoid?
A lot of times it just comes down to, like I mentioned, like towards the end, the time, taking the time in the research process when you're looking at this information to make sure you just judiciously record, take effective notes. So, I know I read all sorts of things, and sometimes it kind of jumbles together, and then I forget which was my own idea and which was the source. So just keeping good notes. So yeah, a lot of times that unintentional plagiarism occurs. Maybe they paraphrased it, just not knowing that you also have to cite sources even when you're paraphrasing. So they think, oh, I just reworded it and that's fine. but did that come out of your brain? No. So,
Right.
so you should just tell us. And a part of education is knowing this information, learning from this information. You
Mhm.
know, we want to know where you got this information. So if I can go look deeper into that research, then you've provided me with that resource. So that's the goal too, is just to expand our knowledge and presenting that to your audience so that they have that. Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you. We do have